What is mail art? It's a surprise in every mailbox. What is mail art? It's anything you can get away with, sent through the post. It could be a 4-foot-long shark, plaster shark. One of my students made that in a mail art show. It could be 22 feet of garden hose with 1-cent stamps up and down. It could be a laminated $10 bill sent from Omaha, Nebraska to LA to test whether the postal system is honest or not. It could be all of those things. It could be audio art, it could be poster art, it could be t-shirts, it can be visual poetry. Mail art is not fine art, it's the artist who is fine. It's more about the artist reciprocating in a free exchange with somebody from the other side of the world.
I love making art, and so it's nice to make art and send it to people who you hope enjoy it. It's like at some point I get a card from them and I send a card back, and then I get another card from them and I send a card back, and sometimes there's a spark and we keep exchanging, and then the exchange go in different directions, and partly the direction they go in is a function of where they're at or where I'm at, but sometimes where we go is a function of the interaction between the two of us.
It is outside of the gallery system, the art establishment. It's between two people. It's a reciprocal exchange, oftentimes a collaboration. It can go global, it can become very intimate. But it is outside of the commodity system, primarily. It's always been that way. You don't think about, well, am I going to be able to sell this? The intention is not to have a commodity that has a certain value. The value is in the exchange, in the relationship, and it's outside of money.
It's always a struggle when I do something that's really beautiful and I send it to somebody, and I hope it survives, but it might not, you know. They might be moving and say, oh God, it all goes in the circular file, but that's okay. I mean, we're all beautiful, and we'll all end up ashes in an envelope sent to another mail artist, maybe, you know.
As far as the aesthetics of mail art go, I think it harkens back to futurism and Dadaism, and there's a little bit of surrealism in there, and it really doesn't emerge until the 60s, I think, as an international art movement with the Fluxus artists in New York City, and quickly in 1962 that spread to Wiesbaden, Germany, and a Fluxus tour. Yoko Ono later. You had artists who actually used the post in kits, Fluxus kits, and Robert Watts introduced the postage stamp in Fluxus postal machines that were placed in galleries that people could buy art for 25 cents. What was the cost of a postage stamp in 1963 when he did this in New York City? What, about a dime? You could put a dime in the machine, and there you got original Robert Watts piece of art. I mean, brilliant kind of a way of playing conceptually with art that's for the people, you know, and that called for interaction.
Well, one of the things we felt like we should have in the mail art show is stamps that people could buy. And so I designed some stamps, and Chuck helped with the production of them and the machine. And it stole my 3/4. Oh wait, here it is. And here we go. And on the poster it says, vote for Ubu. With Ubu and Mayor Ubu. When you think about the fact that I've been doing mail art for 45, 48 plus years, actually it goes back to before my wife and I were married, because I have a box of the postcards I sent to her when we were engaged. So that's a lot of mail. And there are wonderful things in it. There are decorated envelopes that, you know, should be framed and hanging on a wall.
When you get an object in the mail, oftentimes the object is uncovered, totally exposed to the elements, which makes it more interesting of what the postal system will do on the route to your house. How will it get through? Will a can come dented? Stuart sent a pair of shoes to me. So I disassembled the shoe. I took the sole off the shoe and I made a rubber stamp out of it. And I stuffed it in a Ray Johnson nothing soup can. There's nothing in the soup can except the soul of mail art. This must have cost a bit. This cost $4.39. But on the other side, Stuart asks a really good question. Who knows what mail artists carry in their pockets? Only Shmuel knows, and he won't tell.
I'm amazed at what the postage service will let me send. You can glue things onto mat board and send them there. You have to think about, you don't want to damage the postman, so it has to be safe. You don't want sharp edges or pieces of glass, but there is an infinite variety. The only thing that's hard for me is you have to answer a question whenever you send something. Does this contain anything that is hazardous? And I say, lots of dangerous ideas, but they don't count those.
Traveling from my place to the Netherlands to Japan to Australia, and we're all collaborating. Wow, talk about a wonderful way to escape your geographic isolation. I lived in Omaha for a long time, and they have that interesting scene there, but I really felt like closed in. Talk about lockdown. Geographic lockdown to me in mail art is huge.
The nice thing about doing collaborative books with other artists is you never know where they're going to go. This is called Until. It's by Shmuel and Dottie Sider. And it begins, we assume, even as we ask our way, that the oracle is mad. She must be mad, as anyone who tells the truth must be. She tells the truth despite the fact that no one listens. The truths she tells are those that people cannot bear to hear. But she must tell them over and over and over again until. It was done as a process of things being sent back and forth and each of us adding a page. This book was done by an incredible artist, Andrea J., who was struggling with leukemia. I had some of the books. Others were sent to me by her niece after she died. And she had a wonderful sense of humor. You can't read these books. Every time I would get it, I would just burst into laughter. And her ability, despite going through chemo, to make things funny and see the light side of things was just incredible.
They always say that being a mail artist, what can you do as an artist? You know, you can't change the world. You must be a fool, some idealistic. And I always felt like, you know what, I'm living in my little area. Yes, I am secluded, but I can reach out. I can make a difference. I can reach over that wall, you know, with this mail. This is a actual naval that was cast by me. That happens to be a mail artist naval. I won't say whose naval that belongs to, but I created probably a couple hundred mail art navals. I've cast them through the years. I had in 1985, I had a New York Naval Academy performance event on the west side of Manhattan.
International Union of Mail Artists. You can look up and join, and that will let you know about mail art shows. And the thing to do is then send something into a mail art show. People will see your name and your work, and you'll get some postcards in return.
You go into this exhibition and you look at Ryosuke Koen's Brain Cell Project, and there you've got your network. Every 2 weeks he has a list of 115, 120 different artists from around the world, their addresses, and you just write down a few names and you're into it.
I think there is a vast difference between a letter you can read and hold in your hand and keep, and an email message you get from somebody that no matter how good you think you are at archiving, is going to disappear when your computer dies or you switch to a different server. It's a shame. Even email pictures, I think, and videos don't have a very long shelf life. You know, it's a different thing, getting something physical you can hold and look at and touch. There is going to continue to be a place for physical things to go back and forth.
I don't have to show up in person to meet a mail artist to be part of a performance event, right? I can be where I am and still interact with you. You make it what you want it to be, you know, but it's open.